Okay, so I did have a different video planned for today, and I'm not sure if it's gonna end up getting made because it's epic YouTube rewind time, but I saw the video that Deji made yesterday titled My Brother KSI, and after watching it, I had some thoughts about the whole thing. So I wanted to share some of those here, and before we continue, to everybody who's saying the beef between those two is fake, I totally understand that point of view, but in this video, I'm going to be treating the situation as if it is real, because from what I've seen, all parties involved, KSI and Deji, they both have been insisting that this is real, genuine beef, and up to this point, they've both been treating it like that. On top of that, for me, it seems like a lot of the typical behavior you see going on to try and capitalize on the beef shit that you see from these kind of messes like diss tracks or drawing as much public attention onto it as possible, it appears to be mostly absent from this family feud, if you will. Like last year, when the whole Sidemen beef was happening, you saw the diss tracks flying back and forth and the reactions to the diss tracks. Like there was just as much publicity as they could muster, really. And I haven't really seen the same amount of that stuff specifically out of this beef between Deji and KSI.
Haha, just kidding. Deji released a diss track this morning with like Dax, Crypt, and Jalawal in it. Deji, you fucking retard. This beef is almost certainly fake now, but I'm still gonna fucking complain about Deji.
But for those of you who are unfamiliar with how we got here exactly, let me try to catch you up to speed real fast. So the Sidemen have a channel where they upload group videos weekly, and one of the videos they uploaded was a Sidemen Family Fortunes, in which Randolph, one of KSI's and generally the Sidemen's friends, answered a question of name a dead YouTube channel, and he said Deji's.
Name a dead YouTube channel.
Deji. Oh, wow, that's family. That's family, bro.
It was a bit mean, to be fair, but Deji wasn't a massive fan of it, so he decides to make a response video to that comment.
Randolph, you are the Sidemen as well as JJ's bitch. You are literally their bitch.
Yeah, so Randolph makes a response to Deji's whole video on that, and then he makes a diss track on Deji, and so Deji makes a response track back. In that track, he builds on that Randolph is KSI's bitch claim, and he says that KSI paid for Randolph's wedding, and as part of the proof of that claim, he shows KSI's bank statements in the video. KSI reacted to the diss track, saw that, and was none too fond of it.
The one thing you ain't been spreading is that JJ paid for your wedding.
That's out of order. Don't get me involved with this shit, fam. I'm just watching. That's on my parents, man. Mom, dad, I'm disappointed. I'm actually disappointed that you actually let him into my accounts and post it publicly. Like, what the fuck? That's actually pissed me off.
After that, eventually Randolph made another track, and he went even more personal and claimed that Deji got a girl pregnant and then aborted the child. Now, whether or not that's true, or whether or not you think it had any place being brought up by Randolph in the first place, Deji did deny it, and then he went on to say that KSI was the only one in the family to have ever gotten a girl pregnant and then afterwards aborted it. He also then says it was probably KSI who gave Randolph the faulty information.
How dare you speak on my wedding when you getting bitches pregnant and then you fucking end it.
Alright, I have never, ever gotten a girl pregnant. The only person who's ever gotten a girl pregnant is my brother. Alright? My brother has got someone pregnant. And I imagine it was probably JJ who gave you some shit information, because that's what JJ's probably done.
Now, after that, Deji made a tweet about how family always has your back, and then shows screenshots of KSI having blocked him. And the most I think KSI has said directly in response to this were some deleted tweets where he said, "Get negative, troublesome, delusional people out of your life, even if they're family." He says that he keeps these things personal for a reason, and no one really understands what's happening with his family, and that he's never going to speak about this again. The last thing before we get to where we are now is some stuff that JJ and Deji said in a DM interview with Drama Alert. Two separate ones. Where Deji basically says that KSI has chosen his friends over his whole family, including his parents, and KSI basically says that he tried to reach out with counseling to his family, that they didn't want it, so he has to try again later. He said everything Randolph has rapped about Deji didn't come from him, it was from Randolph's own experience, and he says that Deji always plays the victim when he himself is the problem. He says he manipulates his audience to attack anyone with an opinion, and that he'll do whatever he can to save his own image. And lastly, Keemstar clarifies that those weren't all the DMs with him and KSI, just the ones that he chose as the main points because of how many DMs there were. And with all of that said, we're brought to the video that Deji uploaded yesterday where he just fucking unloads a bunch of shit about KSI. Now that video is the main thing I want to talk about here because I do have some thoughts about it, but before that, I want to say that if this is real beef, I don't think any of it belongs in such a public space as the internet. This feels like something that should be handled inside the family and any parties that it concerns directly, not by way of some random fucker like me seeing them beef on Twitter, but it is where it is now regardless of that. Secondly, I'm only really addressing what's out as of me writing this. KSI hasn't made a full response video, and I kind of hope he doesn't.
Actually, KSI did drop a response video, but it was mostly just apologizing and all that shit. I don't really address it in this video because I finished making this video before he uploaded that video.
Like I said, I feel like the whole thing should be handled privately, and it still should be, or at least as privately as it can be at this stage. And lastly, before we go in, I do want to say I've been watching both KSI and Deji for a while. I did find Deji through KSI, but I enjoyed both of their videos growing up, and also to a degree nowadays. I just want to preface with that so you guys know where my bias might lean in this situation. Deji spends the first minute or so of the video reiterating things like saying KSI always picks friends over family, that JJ blocked him on everything including texts and social media, and accusing him of giving people he's beefing with dirt on him, and then he claims this.
He tried to ruin me. He tried to ruin me. Ruin my credibility for the worst. And it didn't work. He tried to ruin me and it didn't work. So he's pissed. He was pissed. That's why he blocked me on social media.
Deji was referring to KSI supposedly saying that Deji did stuff with girls back in the day, and there's not really proof I've seen at least to go either way, but there is some stuff that Deji says very angrily in this video that I do take some issue with. Firstly, there's this.
You sent texts to mum saying you hate me. What brother does that? Saying they hate their own brother. Over what? You hate me. You're saying you hate me. Well, I've done nothing but support your stupid ass.
Okay, so if JJ said he hated Deji to his mom, my guess is that it was a very reactionary comment. And I don't know the context of this hypothetical text message, but I can think of at least a couple things you've done recently that would have rightfully pissed off JJ, like by sharing his private bank statements publicly in a video that you knew would have been seen by millions of people, saying in a video that he got a girl pregnant before terminating that pregnancy, and claiming that he told someone who has beef with you that you were the one who actually did that. So far, you really haven't given a whole lot to support most of what you were saying as far as the pregnancy shit goes. To be fair though, that was kind of on both sides of the diss track aisle, but KSI was never the one publicly making those claims now, was he?
I support you when it comes to music, I support you when it comes to anything, and you wanna fucking turn your back on me and then block me on social media.
Damn, it's almost like you publicly revealed something that was private and deeply personal to JJ, and as a result, he was very personally hurt or angry at you doing that. I can't think of a single reason why he would be fucking pissed, not trust, or not want to talk to you.
You dramatic fuck. You are so dramatic, it pisses me off. You insecure fucking prick. I honestly can't stand you.
I don't really think any of us should be hearing about this, but we are, and it's from Deji's mouth making the whole thing public, and apparently KSI is the overdramatic one. Now, to be fair to you, you did say that the reason you were going this public is because the only way you can get in contact with KSI at this point is through that, but it seems pretty clear that the reason you made this video wasn't just to get JJ's attention or to try and get him to talk to you one-on-one. It's very clear, in my opinion, that you just wanted to fucking hurt him for whatever misdeeds you feel like he's enacted onto you.
But your ego is pissing me off. You think you're the shit. You think you're so high and mighty. You're literally comparing yourself to a god. Whereas you're far from it.
Deji, this is stupid. Like, I don't know the entire situation, obviously. I'm not in the middle of all this. But so far, you have refused to directly accept any responsibility at all. Or even vaguely consider that maybe the reason JJ doesn't want to talk to you as much is because of something you did. Even if there is something more to this that we're not hearing about, you are coming off like you think you are the one who has done absolutely no wrong in this situation. And yet you are the one calling KSI an egomaniac who thinks of himself as a god. That might very well be true. I don't know him, but to me at this moment, you don't seem like you're that much better. There's a bit he says closer to the end that I want to play here because I think it fits in pretty well with what we're talking about at the moment.
You say you want us to go to counseling. You're saying we're a broken family. The only thing broken is you. You're broken. I never ever had an issue with my parents. Obviously we have arguments and stuff, but yeah, every family does. But what do? We always get together. We get together again, figure out the issue, and then we're cool. That's what we do. I can't do that with you because there's something it's just something in your head that's just not right.
Oh wow! Me and my parents, we have arguments, but we get together and work it out, just like any family. But JJ, him reaching out to try and do that thing I said families are supposed to do? No, I can't do that with him. He's too fucked in the head. Him reaching out to try and work our familial issues out with the counselor? Not fucking having it. I don't think I need to explain to you guys what is so retarded about that last clip, but from the looks of it, Deji might need me to, so please excuse me. Deji, you say that all families all have arguments, but after those, they get together, they talk about it, and they work it out. And then JJ says that maybe you guys should go to counseling to try and work your issues out as a family, but you say you can't do that because it's him. Specifically because it's KSI. You can't work out shit with family because KSI is the family you'd have to work it out with. If it's the whole idea of a moderator that's got you peeved, sure. But the thing is, based on how mad you've gotten at a camera talking about this, imagine how heated you could get when actually talking to JJ. How productive do you think it would actually be if it was just you guys without some moderator who knows how to deal with these kinds of things to move the conversation along? There is a good chance it would devolve into yelling, nothing would get done, and you guys would just be even more resentful of each other than you were at the start. I'm guessing that might have been something along the lines of JJ's thought process too, because he seems to want to try again when things have cooled down a bit. Whatever, just roll a clip of something else stupid that Deji says.
You need to sort yourself out. You sit down and figure out what the fuck is wrong with yourself. And then if you want to talk to me, then cool. But from here on, me and you aren't brothers.
Yes, sort yourself out, my brother, knowledge, strength, and integrity, and figure out what is wrong with thyself. Because there is absolutely zero chance that this is something that I am at all at fault for. Not even a chance of shared responsibility that led us to where we are. Not a chance. It is entirely your fault. Yes.
I would never raise my son to ever hate on family. Alright? Never.
Deji, I would hope you would raise your hypothetical child with critical thinking skills. But I don't know that you'd be able to, because for someone who's going off about how KSI is an egotistical maniac, you sure seem to lack the ability to look outside of yourself. Like, yeah, of course you don't want to teach your son to hate family by default. What I'd assume you'd want to do is to try and give them the skills to analyze situations and draw their own conclusions from that.
I've done nothing but support you countlessly. Even when you're in the wrong, I support you, but you're still stupid in your fucking head.
You supported him in everything he does, even in situations where you felt he was in the wrong. And listen, Deji, I do respect that. That loyalty is commendable, but there is loyalty to a fault. And I think part of this comes down to what you define as support. Because if by support, you mean telling somebody to go for it when they're passionate about something, that's great. But if when supporting somebody when you think they are in the wrong, you mean that you gotta defend their actions even if you disagree with them, that's just fucking stupid. I'm not going to pretend to know how you're defining support in this exact situation, and I won't claim to know what it is you are referring to exactly when you say JJ doesn't support you. What specific situations have happened where JJ wasn't completely at your back? But if the reason he doesn't have your back is because he genuinely thinks you were in the wrong, then I think him holding you responsible for something he feels you did wrong is more conducive to helping you grow as a person than if he just enabled you. And to be fair, you could argue that's what you're doing for KSI right now. I just think if that's what you're trying to do, you might need to rethink some of what you're saying. You are hyper-focused on this notion that JJ doesn't give a shit about his family, that he always chooses his friends over you guys, and it feels like you have some sense of entitlement simply because you guys are brothers. Family is most definitely important, but family doesn't just mean blood, retard. If you or anybody in your blood family has done some of the shit that you've done to JJ and seem to be unable to take responsibility for, and you've done it more than just from what we've seen publicly, then yeah, I'd probably be a bit distant too. There is some more stuff that Deji says in the video, but I've said my piece on most of what I wanted to, and like I said earlier, I'm only working off of what information is available publicly, and I still really think this shouldn't have been as public as it is, or public at all, and to whatever extent it can be by now, this should be resolved in private. KSI said publicly to Deji that no matter what happened between him, that he'd still love him. He said sorry. What for exactly, I'm sure, is a complicated answer. I might have come off as pretty pro KSI in this video, but I don't want to make it seem like there's no chance he's done something wrong here that we don't know about, or there's evidence of the claims that Deji is making. This could very well be a shared responsibility meme, or I could be wrong entirely. Perhaps there is some context we're missing, but as it stands, a lot of what Deji was saying in this video just felt really dumb to me, and that a lot of it contradicted itself, or it made Deji look like somewhat of a hypocrite. I like both Deji and KSI. I think Deji might have just gotten angry when he made the video, and emotions just kind of made their own path at that point. Like he said in the video, it was something he had kept pent up for a while. But anyways, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to drop a like, and if you're new, subscribe. I'm trying to hit 500,000 subscribers before the year is out, so I would really appreciate it if you guys subbed. If you guys have any thoughts on this, think I got something wrong, or that I missed anything, or that I'm just a fucking retard, be sure to leave that in the comments below. If you want to cop any of my merch, you can go to kwiteshop.com. I have a podcast with Wild Spartans and FPS Diesel called Loudmouse. We upload 2 new episodes every week on Tuesdays and Saturdays, and we're up on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. If you want to support the channel a little more directly, you can do so by clicking that join button next to the subscribe button and donating $5 a month to get things like custom badges and custom emotes. It is totally optional, but it's much appreciated, and it does help out the channel. You can follow me on Twitter at Kwite and on Instagram at Kwite.png. Links to both of those in the description below. And lastly, I also have a Discord server. Link to that in the description as well if you're interested. Anyways, this has been Kwite, and I will see you guys next time.